Sorry about that, guys. We're back now, so please continue.
So I think we were talking about how Source might be a bit angry and disappointed with his performance last Saturday and fire up against Lobie. And my personal opinion is Source is much better ruckman than Lobie, although Lobie's a good contester. Who from the Port game, guys, is going to be a bit angry and out to prove a point this weekend in the showdown?
Hopefully, I reckon the defence as a unit kind of needs to lift a little bit. I don't think Hinkley or the defensive coaches will be happy with all the over-the-top goals that we conceded. But I also reckon if he doesn't get dropped, Brendan Archie had a pretty poor game considering, he's finally cemented his place into the starting 22. He should be, performing a little bit better. And considering he can take a good hanger, he can kick a good goal, he needs to really get up for this one, hopefully.
Agreed with Archie. He had a shocker last weekend. Ollie Wines was also rather quiet until the third/fourth quarter when we burst away. Pollock was another one that kind of grew into the game, but was rather poor in the first 3 quarters or so. I kind of disagree with the defence. I thought our defence 1v1 or in their individual matchups were pretty solid. I think there was really many opportunities when they actually beat 1v1. It was more so our forward press, which is the start of the game plan that we're obviously implementing.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Was failing, and they were getting opportunity, usually from turnovers, and they were getting over the top goals, which our defenders weren't really able to do much about, unfortunately.
So how do you think you guys will match up against Tex and Jenkins? Will it be who's going to go to who?
I think we might play a bit of rotation. Obviously, I think Carlisle is still one of the best kind of 1v1 kind of, defenders in the competition. So I'd match him up on Tex, but, we've also got Trengrove who can play tall, and he's probably not as mobile as Carlisle, so we might see Carlisle play on Jenkins a little bit, and obviously Homsch can also play tall, and I'm a big fan of Homsch. So I think we've got enough players to handle them, but I think we'll see a lot of changing in between the defenders and playing different matchups throughout the night.
I hope you guys play Carlisle on Jenkins. I reckon he will tear him apart running back to goal.
Yeah, well, I'd probably put Homsch on Jenkins, to be honest. Homsch moves a lot better than Trengrove and Carlisle. But you guys have got some pretty good
on Lynch?
Forwards at the moment. I just hope we can contain them.
Because Lynch is so much more mobile as well. So who goes on him?
If he played like he did last week, it won't matter.
Trengo all play tall, who are pretty mobile, and then there's Carlisle, who's pretty slow. It's more who Carlisle goes to, and the other 3 kind of find who they want to go to, obviously, and then one plays to spare. Or any other drifters that go forward, obviously, like Jacobs if he drifts forward. I kind of have to say Carlisle goes to Tex almost by default because you can't really give him to Jenkins or Lynch. Homsch could shut Lynch out of the game completely, most likely, because he's probably our best tall defender, Homsch.
Yeah.
And Trengo for Jonas to Trengo for the height. I don't know.
Who was spelling Lobie in the ruck, guys, when Lobie had a rest?
Saw a bit of Trengrove, I think, and I reckon I like him when he pinch hits in the ruck. So Trengrove sometimes west off. So
I reckon Trengrove's won you games pinch hitting in the ruck. Last quarter, pinch hitting in the ruck. I've seen Trengrove win a few games for you guys. I reckon he actually worries me a bit coming into that last quarter if he goes into the ruck.
Yeah, he does give us another option there, and I think his tap work, his drive in the ruck, he's got a bit more to offer than Lobie, but of course he doesn't really get down to ground level and win that hard stuff. So, but I'd be happy to see him, come in for the last quarter if things are a bit tight and the game needs opening up.
Yeah, Dixon
in 2013, 2014.
Didn't notice him there, so I think he just played the majority forward because Lobie was, taking the main hulk of the ruck, and I saw Trengrove in there a bit, but I didn't really notice us use Dixon at all in the ruck, so Not sure if we'll change that up this week.
I don't
No,
think
he didn't
was
play
even,
ruck once.
Yeah, I don't think even up forward he didn't do any of the rucking.
Yeah, he played. He was very mobile, I thought, against St Kilda. He did a lot of he kind of roved his own ball a lot. He went to ground a lot, which is a bit disappointing. But I thought, he probably won't be doing the ruck in the forward. If he didn't do it for the St Kilda game, I don't think they'll swap it up or change something different in the showdown.
I was going to say in our 2013 and 2014 setup, we had Loiby solo ruck, and he'd just try and wear down the opposition ruck in the first three quarters. And the fourth quarter, we'd have Trengo and Westy kind of quarter when the opposition ruckman was tired.
Yeah.
And leave Loiby up to try and take a mark, which is kind of rare for him because he takes 1 or 2 a game. Which is poor, but anyway. I think we're trying to revert back to that system for this year. I didn't really know too much of Trengo specifically taking over the but I don't think it's the case this week. But hopefully that might happen this week for us.
So, Nicky, who do you think will send to Summer Port's better players? Who's going to go to Gray? Who's going to go to Dixon? Who's going to go to Hartlett? Who's going to go to Wingard?
See, Gray, I think, he's the one you've got to stop up forward. I'm actually more inclined possibly to put Brown on him.
So who goes to Wingard?
Whether that's Laird or Smith. I think Laird's better.
Lairdy goes,
I think Lairdy's better defensively than Smith.
So Laird to Wingard?
I reckon that's if you're putting Brown on Gray.
Great.
Yeah, I guess for me it'll. I mean, I still have nightmares a bit thinking of Robbie Gray turning Rory Laird inside out a few years back, but Lairdy's come on a lot since then, matured a lot as a player. We got Froggy saying Laird on Gray all day. What? So look, I think that's probably a good option. I'd be inclined to play Lairdy, Brownie on the one closest to goal, depending on how they match up.
Is Lairdy better overhead though? Chad takes a few grabs. I don't know whether Brown can go with him overhead.
Yeah, that's a good call, Phoenix.
Lairdy's good at the punch.
I almost think that Lever could be a good matchup for Wingard.
Well, certainly if we bring Hardigan in, that's a pretty good call, Danos. If we're looking for Lever to go with, say, a Westhoff, then obviously we're a bit short then. But
Channel Ikayu, stop typing so loud.
I love Lever. We all love the snake. I still think he's very much drawn to the contest. I think a couple of times against North Melbourne, he got caught out being drawn to the contest, and some of the smaller players he might have been looking at got away from him. I'd be a bit concerned if we had Lever on Wingard. Be great to see it. Be a great learning opportunity for him. I think he'd have to learn to stay at home on his man a bit more than get drawn to the contest, though.
It's his natural instinct to just attack.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, last word from our Port guests. What's your call, guys? Final word.
Who's going to win?
I'm going to say, I can never tip against Port, but I'm not confident, so I'll go with a draw, I reckon. Just keep it interesting.
And the medal?
Robbie Gray. I've got him for the Brownlow. I reckon he'll pull out another best on ground performance to bring the medal just past Rory Sloane, I reckon.
And also
Jesus,
for
I can only
Sunday,
hope Rory comes on like that.
SANFL showdown.
Where's that?
I reckon. Isn't that up in Manham?
Manham, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's up in Madam.
Yeah, I'll probably. I don't know. Depends like who comes in and out really. Like, obviously White is out for for Port. So whoever comes out for him, I think it will most likely be one of Young, Tumpus or Amon, and they're three of the best players in the Magpies. So I don't know. I kind of reckon whoever wins the AFL one is most likely to lose the SANFL one.
Well, our SNFL side has 3 top-up players, and that's it. And it's probably going to drop down to 2 because Doday's is going to be. We've got basically the shortest injury list in the AFL. So our SNFL team is mostly made up of AFL players.
Yeah, that's a good shout. So I'll probably say the Crows are favourites for that, but yeah, never know.
Well, you guys won in the SNFL quite last weekend, and we
smashed them.
Were pretty. I don't want to say poor, but we converted our chances. We didn't really have too many of them against Nord.
Yeah,
I'd have to say you'd probably win that one.
All right, guys. Well, thanks very much for joining us. It's always good to have the opposition on board, especially during a showdown, and we really appreciate you giving up your time to give us an insight from the other side of the fence. So good luck for round 3, as someone said to me on your boards this afternoon. Good luck for the season, and hopefully we might see you at some stage in the finals.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one.
Another dream final. We can only hope.
Yeah, we like that dream final.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks.
All right, so good of Chad Wingoat and I forget
Medallion.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, Medallion
for joining us. It is great to have guys from the other side of the fence on, and they gave us some good insight into what they're thinking over there. So we wish them all the best for every other game apart from ours. Final thoughts from us on the showdown, guys?
I feel confident.
I think we're going to go a clean sweep for the weekend.
Yeah, I'm quietly confident. I think the signs we showed against North. I think North are a decent side. I think they'll probably finish top 4 this year, given how Freo are going. And we should have won the game had it not been for some silly errors, and I guess still finding our feet. Oh, Tex missing goals. Yeah, I mean Tex and Eddie won't have that goal out. Calm down, Nicky. Goodness. So I'm actually quietly confident. I think we'll win the showdown, and couldn't really give a stuff about this NFL game, to be honest.
I like seeing our young guys do well.
Big fella's starting to undress here in my room, by the way. I've given him too much red wine.
Oh, how's he going to get home?
I don't know.
He probably won't need to, Nicky.
No, I think he's sleeping over.
Now,
he's interesting from Ben Treeman. How could we be confident it's a showdown? It's like, well, I watched Port and I watched us. That's how I'm confident.
That's a good point, though. They're always 50-50. You can never be really confident.
Oh, look, I think it'll be a close game. I guess when I say I'm confident, I'm actually confident we're playing reasonable football. I'm confident that we haven't really missed too much of a beat with Pikey coming in and having to take over from Walshy and Camperelli. So I'm actually pretty optimistic that we're good enough this year to play finals again and hopefully win a couple. So whether that translates to win this weekend or not, I think it will, because I want to be optimistic. But I'm just happy we're playing good footy.
On Pikey, it was interesting, 3/4 time when they came back, it looked like he was standing with the defensive group and there was fingers being pointed and it looked like some stern words were occurring.
I remember that.
And yet, Talia's conference yesterday, he actually said how calm Pikey was and how they really appreciate that. And even in the aftermatch, he was very calm as well. So that's kind of an interesting little insight.
I don't know whether he would have been quite as calm behind closed doors. I don't think he would have been terribly impressed
No.
with our forward line. I'm not that confident about the showdown, to be honest. I was worried that we weren't able to slow the game down at any point against North Melbourne. And I was worried by the body language and general the approach of some of our forwards. JJ aside, I said it on Sunday night, I just felt like the forwards played like millionaires, and I'd like to see a lift from the Texan, even though his numbers don't look that bad. When you actually watch the replay, he didn't have a huge influence on the game, and there were some key moments when I felt that he let us down. So I really think that in order for us to win, we need a big lift from our forward half.
Lynch was sat on, though, very much so. And it'd be interesting if Port try to take him out as well.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You need to have a plan B. You need to have an alternative. Oh, yeah. And I felt
but is
like
that
we
McGovern?
played with. Yeah, well, I mean, he's the guy, but whether they've trained for that or not is the thing. The fact that we were very plan A oriented all night, and we didn't have. And we've seen through the NAB Cup that we've had the ability to change game styles mid-game, so I don't know why that wasn't called during the game.
Do you think North's a good side, Phoenix?
No, I don't rate them.
Yeah, okay. So that would maybe explain your perspective there a bit, because I think they're a decent side, and I think had Tex kicked straight, had Eddie kicked that one running into goal, had Matty and Brad Crouch not given away a few 50s, and I actually still...
And Laird. And Tomo.
Yeah, so I thought we were good enough to win that game. We were capable of winning the game. I'm a bit reluctant to say we were the better side, but I certainly think we can be the better side. And I mean that forward line that you're talking about had both McGovern and Miller rolling through it, both first game players. It wasn't like that. We had an established half forward line that was really ready to rock and roll like we had last year. Knight in the final had established himself. Charlie Cameron had established himself, and they gave us extra options. I'm pretty confident we can turn that around in the next few weeks and start to play some really good football through that forward line.
Now, for those of us listening who are Big Footy Board members, we've got a bit of a celebrity who's decided to call in, which is really great. Froggy, welcome aboard, mate. How you going?
G'day, guys. And girls.
He does sound like he's coming from a blender.
I've got some Bluetooth headphones, so maybe not the clearest.
Are you coming through well, mate?
Yeah, that's better.
That's good.
So, mate, what's your quick 5-minute dissection of the North Melbourne game?
5 minutes?
5 seconds. Sorry.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I was sort of working at the time, so I was glancing over probably every couple of minutes, so I haven't actually watched the game in full. I struggle to rewatch a game where we lose, unfortunately.
Sure. Fair enough then. Danny or Kylie?
Both.
Big fella gets numb null of the week.
Both. Got it. Well done. Pay that.
I could take that further and, ask which, if Kylie won the toss, which end would she pick? But let's not go there.
Neither of you.
So,
put it this way, if you've seen her current boyfriend, neither of you.
Oh, now come on, Nikki.
It's not just about looks, Nikki. For fuck's sake.
It's about what's inside,
No, he can
Nick.
sing as well. He can sing as well.
Superficial.
We all know what Nikki's after now.
Gallivant is very nice.
I tell you what, if Riley O'Brien can sing, look out.
No. You stop it.
So, Froggy, you've been good enough to call in and join us, so we'll give you the floor, mate. What do you want to vent about?
I might go with an untouched topic this week and go with VV.
We haven't really covered that very much.
I know, we need to talk about him some more.
Give us your
No, look,
thoughts, mate.
To me, it's just really sad. I think I don't know. I'm maybe not the best judge of footy, but he's just frustrating. And I've always believed from the start that he got games before he was really, showing what he was made of. Maybe that's what we're calling for with other guys, but it's just I've never been a fan, and I don't want to denigrate the guy, but to me, it's just sad at the end that he's still getting a game, and I know everyone seems to be able to see it, other than the coaches, unfortunately.
I find it really strange that consecutive coaches have continued to pick him, and it makes you wonder the influence that he has around the club, or the influence that other people have around the club that place his, quote unquote leadership value on such a high plane that they're willing to ignore the deficiencies in his game.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I've listened to Chris McDermott, and he's been a big supporter of him, but I think that's due to his charity commitments, of which he obviously does a lot for. But he's just just a frustrating one.
But if you're endorsed by Chris McDermott, that generally means you're not good.
Yeah, true.
He's not on the same planet these days, is he, old Chris?
He's got no idea.
Yeah, I still stick to it that when Van Berlo was younger and he threw himself where angels fear to tread, and he had that ability to be reckless and win the football.
Yeah.
He had something to offer us. But when he started having back injuries and he had some time out and he had to come back and he stopped playing that way, I don't think he's ever been worth the salt since then, really.
Pardon me. The guy should almost call it himself. I mean, if he has a look at his review tapes and referring to the Big Footy Board, I had a brief conversation with Southern Takeover on one of the threads, who's obviously a bit of a VB fan, and that's fine. That's his prerogative, and we won't judge him accordingly. But I actually went through the replay and screenshotted 3 or 4 different times where VB physically squibbed the ball. Now, I've never actually seen him do that. The one thing that VB has always done is attack the ball for all his other deficiencies, and yet against the Kangaroos, with their high-intensity game on the weekend, he circled the ball 3 or 4 times, and to me that's the final straw. If you can't even attack the ball and get the ball, irrespective of what you're doing with it, you don't belong on the team, really.
Yeah, that is very unusual from what we've known from him.
I think he's fried. I think he's cooked.
How many years to go has he got left?
Too many.
Does he? I don't know if he knows.
I don't know what his contract is, actually.
Come on, stats man.
We need
maybe
Baby,
one
mate.
or two,
Where is
maybe. I think it's only 1 or 2.
Oh dear.
Look, at this stage, I think he needs to. I think the club need to make a call. We've got options across halfback. We've got options who could roll through the midfield as well, and VB obviously isn't up to that anymore. And, great servant of the club, etc., etc. I think the club just need to make a call now, and whether he becomes an SANFL captain and takes on a leadership role there, or whether he just retires gracefully, he can't be playing AFL anymore. It's just not happening.
If we want to pick players who are going to squib the contest and sort of circle the footy, we'll pick Henderson, because at least he can kick it.
At least he can keep the ball. I'll just pat my red wine then.
We could have had another technical glitch.
Well, if Phoenix actually turned the porn off, maybe we wouldn't have all the technical issues.
You're the one that asked me to turn the porn on in the first place.
Oh, this is not good with you two being in the same room.
No, probably not.
Wait till Danos comes back to... Are you in Adelaide yet, Danos?
1 month.
Yeah, wait till we get Danos around as well.
And I will quite happily stay here on my own.
Oh, come on, Nikki. So, Froggy, give us another topic, mate. Van Berlo wasn't your best effort, let's be honest.
What about Hardigan, Froggy?
I've stuck up for him a couple of times, especially against Wayne Foyle, but that's probably more to stir him up than actually supporting Hardigan. But probably.
Are you saying you're trolling Wayne's World, Froggy?
No,
just remember there's a mod in the room.
It's perfectly okay with me. Play on.
No, I probably with him, it's more his physical attributes, I suppose, that makes him appealing. But I also think he gets a hard rap when, and I've mentioned it before that Talia, I'd say, probably almost turned it over more last year. But he,
sorry, I have to interrupt. If this was a video podcast, you would have seen Big Fella and I both look at each other and go, "What the fuck?" when you said physical attributes.
I thought Nicky was making those sort of comments. But each to their own.
No. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Thanks for stereotyping me.
You don't like good-looking men?
It's a bonus.
Fair enough. Carry on, Froggy. Sorry, mate.
I'm lost.
I must admit, I was going, Dennis.
Going back to Van Berlo, the contract thread.
What's the reason?
Really?
What's the
stand
reason?
it. Go on, mate.
The contract thread updated by the mods, so should be known by Big Fella.
You think so,
His
wouldn't you?
contract ends at the end of this year.
Well, there
Come
you
on,
go,
Big
then.
Fella.
Mate, you know how many threads I have to update?
None. Oh, hang
Probably.
on, our meeting with the club. That's what you need to update.
Yeah, did Hank... anyway, we'll get back to that another time. I must admit, I was one who was quite pleased to see Lever be given the responsibilities I guess Hardigan would have had he played last week. Still undecided, to be honest, how I felt about that. I thought our defence was not well organised, and that might have been because we didn't have enough tools. As I said before, I'm not a Cheney fan. He tries hard, and he puts in a good effort. I just don't know if he's big enough or good enough to make it at AFL level in a contending side.
Get out.
That's fine. You can tell me to get out, but I think we need a better player than him if we're going to contend. And look, we need a better player than VB and McKay and a few others if we're going to contend too. But I think we've got them. We just need to get more games into them. I'd be quite happy to see Hardigan come back into the side this week. They've got Hoff, Dixon, Schultz. So I think there's matchups for him. Phoenix is giving me really odd looks at the moment. It's making me very uncomfortable. I think I'm supposed to leave now. Bye.
The thing people forget about Hardigan is he's actually really quick. They just kind of see the size of him and they think, oh, he's got to be slow because we saw a play.
People's problem with Hardigan is his brain fades, and let's be honest, they don't occur all that much anymore. And I think just in terms of his physical attributes, I think I mentioned on the board today sometime to Peter maybe, and a shout out to Peter who's convalescing after a penis extension operation. Good luck with that, Pete. Hope it all works well for you.
What?
Danos, stop him.
Back away slowly, Danos. Back away slowly.
We call
the
him
issue
Penis
is
J now.
Correct.
I've already had to make it explicit, so you know. The thing is with Hardigan is he frees Lever up, he allows more attacking, and I think Lever can really do some damage when he doesn't have a negating assignment.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably just as much of a value of Hardigan being in the team as Hardigan's own, as Froggy likes to put it, physical attributes.
Absolutely. I think, what do people think about Talia's work these days? I've been quite outspoken a few times on the boards over the last few years about him needing to be able to leave his own man, kill a contest, play a bit more unselfish as a defensive player, and also to become more offensive. His numbers in terms of possessions seem to have gone up over the last half of last year, and I think he had 17 or 18 touches again on the weekend. Do people see that his role's changed a bit, or do you think they're just coming out of being at the contest?
I reckon those possessions are all as a result of taking a mark from a kick in or clearing from defence. There's no reason, the reason that is not seen in the same light as guys like Rance and Hurley is because he doesn't have that intercept and offensive side to his game that those guys do.
But those teams don't have like a Smith or a Laird, or now we've got Seaman that are running out from defence. So we don't have to have Talia doing that. He's there to provide an option. And I think one of the things he's changed is he's trying to mark a lot more, whereas before he just used to punch. So he's actually going for marks.
It's because he's capable of taking the mark.
Yeah. It's interesting. The club's put up a little clip today because he plays his 100th game on Saturday.
Yep.
So well done, Tals. And they've got a couple of the guys talking about it, and it's kind of funny with Lynch and a few others, and they're just like, they just keep at how much he hates losing a contest. Any contest within the game, he takes it as a personal affront, and he just goes after that player again to make sure he doesn't lose that contest next time. And that's primarily actually why we have him in the team. And he's an All-Australian. He's a Rising Star winner. Every other team would love to have him on their side.
Do you think we need more from him, though? I guess is the question, Nikki. Do you think we need more? Do you think we need him to get better at reading the play and killing someone else's contest, not just locking down his own man? Coming into his 100th game, it's not like he's a fresh player anymore.
I don't think every player needs to be able to do that. It depends on what you've got around you and how your setup is. And I think our defence can actually work quite well. I think if it's his chance, then yes, he goes. But primarily he's there to stop that big power forward. And that's his main role.
See, I disagree, Nikki. If you have a look at the Roos match last weekend, we employed double and sometimes triple teaming on the deep forward, which was usually Drew Petrie. And Tales relied very heavily on Lever in particular coming over the top, and sometimes Cheney or even Van Berlo for that matter. I think that Daniel probably wouldn't be happy with the way he played on the weekend. And I think one-on-one...
I don't think any of our defence would.
Oh, no, I think that's unfair. I think our defence, by and large, suffered from lack of midfield intensity. But Daniel's one-on-one ability, I think, has dropped off just a fraction. That's just my view anyway. And I think that he's benefiting from the team defence mindset that we've got at the moment. But against a power forward, I think he struggles, to be honest.
So he goes to Dixon this weekend, yeah? Surely.
You would think
Yeah, he
so.
always has.
Yeah, we'll be able to assess again on Sunday night, won't we? Because
yeah.
If there's anyone who's a power forward, Charlie Dixon would be it if he's actually on the park.
Yeah.
Oh, I reckon Hardigan will come in and play on Dixon.
Do you think, Danos?
Wow.
And Talia goes to Schultz?
Why? The reason why is because the last couple of years, every time there has been a big power forward and a slightly smaller power forward, Hardigan has gone to the bigger one.
Interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they match up.
I reckon
give me an example,
I reckon
Dennis.
Gold Coast games, I don't think
Dixon?
that happened.
So give me
Dixon is
Charlie
actually
was
bigger
on-
than Lynch. And
Yeah, but I reckon Hardigan was on Lynch.
Oh, I don't know if he was. He always used to take the resting ruckman.
Well, Daniel said he's played on Dixon.
He probably has. I'm sure he has.
I mean, that's a tough one, Dixon or Lynch, when they were both at Gold Coast. That's a pretty tough call. They're both massive power forwards, to be fair. And I'm actually expecting Tommy Lynch will even flourish even more without Dixon there stealing some of his ball. To be honest, they probably didn't need both, which is why they were happy to let him go on a trade. So I haven't. Have you got any other examples, Danos? I can't think of good examples that you're talking about. So who did he play on in Sydney? Franklin or Tippett?
Look, to be honest, I'm putting myself on the spot, and it's not a good time for me to do that.
Sure.
Would you like to expand on that, Dan?
I'm just going to call bullshit, and we'll see how they go on Sunday then.
You can call
When
that.
we played
You'd be wrong.
GWS,
That's why they made me a mod.
What was that, Froggy?
when we played GWS on Easter or a year or so ago, they had 2 or 3 big forwards. That I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure Hardigan took the big
Patton?
Patton.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right,
because
actually.
Talia would be on Cameron.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if Hardigan doesn't play.
It might just be that
Dixon gets hold of Talia, who then goes to Dixon because, unfortunately for Lever, he'd be about 100 kilos undersized.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned on the boards today. Having Hardigan in gives us a plan B, and I don't think we had a plan B against the Roos. And I think, if nothing else, it allows us an opt-out if Westhoff gets off the chain or Schultz gets off the chain. It allows us to mix and match, and if we don't have that option, I think we're pretty much stuffed, to be honest, if they get good supply. And
I think one thing we know about Cheney, no matter how much people love him, is he's not a key position defender. And to be quite frank, North Melbourne played 3 guys who could play key position or rotate through key positions. So I think that he got a bit exposed on the weekend.
I was genuinely shocked. I was genuinely shocked that Hardigan didn't play, because Brown, Petrie and Waite were always going to play, and they're always going to be too big for a Cheney type.
Hardigan didn't play well, though, in the half against Gold Coast.
I don't think it matters, though, Nikki. There comes a time when it's matchup specific, and I could see the reasoning why we didn't go with Hardigan. I could understand what they were trying to achieve, but it didn't really manifest on the ground.
And yet we nearly won the game.
I couldn't see the reason at all. I thought they were always going to be the ones who took it away from us. And in my opinion, it was them.
It was hard to tell from the
Petrie
TV.
kicked a couple in the last quarter too.
Yeah. It was hard
Brown
to tell
took
off
a couple
the
of marks in
TV.
the forward 50 that we just couldn't stop.
It was hard to tell off the TV whether the big guys were actually rotated for the North Melbourne. I didn't see too many times when Brown, Petrie and Waite were on the ground at the same time. But there were key moments when they were, and that's when I felt we were lacking.
They took 16 marks between the 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I think it's not often that we've been outmarked that heavily by key forwards over the last. Thank you to Talia mostly over the last 5 years.
Anyway,
it's going to be
probably
interesting.
Crap on for hours.
We could keep arguing about this round in circles.
I think the upshot is that it's going to be a very interesting week in selection. It'll be interesting to see whether they stick to their guns and leave Hardo out. It'll also be interesting to see if they leave VB in the team, and also to a lesser degree DMAC, I think, after another vanilla performance.
You reckon McLovin and Miller are locks?
They should be, but
I think they should
agree
be.
with you. I agree with you. I'm just curious to see what people's thoughts were.
I think, though, if VB is still in the team, Thursday night will be a must listen just to hear Skorpos going off.
loses shit, I reckon.
He will.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, so will I. There's no justification anymore. We've been through it. So final tips, guys. Danos, what do you reckon?
Same as what I said before. Clean sweep of the weekend.
Clean sweep. Nikki?
I agree with Danos.
Crows by 13. I don't care about the SNFL.
Froggy, what do you reckon, mate?
Port by 3 goals in the AFL and Crows by about 5 in the SNFL.
I don't like you.
Right. Thanks for joining us, Froggy, and I've just put you on my block list. But I happen to agree with you, mate. I reckon we'll get done on the weekend. I predict that selection will be stubborn and almost go in unchanged with maybe one change, but it won't be Van Berlo. And
it'll probably be Buddy McGovern.
Yeah, or Miller. I reckon we'll get done by 5. And the Samful, well, I reckon we're pretty strong there, but I'm a bit like big fella who bloody cares. Froggy, thanks for joining us, mate. It's been good having you on briefly, even though we probably talked all over you for the last 10 minutes.
All good. No worries. Thanks, guys.
On your Froggy.
And Nikki, money in the jar is all I can say. I don't know when you're scheduled on next, but...
I'll find a spare 5 cents.
All right.
I'm a student.
You're a student.
I thought you worked at the university. I didn't realise you were studying.
Yeah, I do both.
You can't call yourself a student if you're earning money.
You're going to go straight on my fees because I can't put it on Hex.
Oh, cry me a river.
I have to pay up front.
What are you studying?
I'm doing a BAHA. Which you've got no idea what that is.
A Baha.
Yeah, Baha. I'm a Baha. It's a Bachelor of Arts enhanced program for high achievers. I'm a smarty pants.
Okay.
They do onion rings as well as fries.
Yeah, mostly distinctions and high distinctions.
Very good.
I'm just putting you on mute. And big fella, it's been nice to have you at my humble abode this evening.
It's been a pleasure, Phoenix. Thanks mate.
For the wine and the rubs.
Stop oversharing. Stop it.
All right. Thanks to those who were listening to us tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Apologies for the
apologise.
We need someone to keep us straight, let's be honest.
And we'll see you on the boards. Don't forget to listen in to Scorpos and his panel on Thursday night for the teams and preview. And Sunday with me and whoever wants to rock up. You know, maybe Nikki, I don't know, for the wash-up of the showdown. So until then, we'll catch you later.
Carna Crows.
Bye.
Bye, kids.
Yes, we are children.